Welcome to DMOT Garage. We're back again on the 54 single cab barn door. In the last episode on this, we had stripped the beam and we had mucked around with the spindles, and in today's episode we are going to get the front beam mounted into the chassis. As you can see, it is painted. It's already a little bit dusty because it's been sitting on the ground. But as you can see, I did plate up the Zert fittings for the oil, for the grease, and we've also done the centre pin as well. We might need to do some modifications to this centre pin, and it was actually Stan that alerted me to the fact that the spindles on the barn door, the arms are in the lower position, and the later model ones are in the higher position. So our tie rods might have some clearance issues. We'll have to play around with that once it is mounted, but I think we have some plans that we can go forward from there. So anyway, this thing's all been done in KBS, ready to go. We have the spring packs up there. We're going to use the spring packs out of, I think actually the spring packs, we're going to use the 64. Yes, we have to use the spring packs from the 64 because we're using the 64 arms, because the barn door ones, if you look inside there, they're actually a different shape on the arms. So they are the spring packs they're the ones that we're going to be using. So I just figured we'll leave it like this for now because it's nice and light and I can get it in there. What we do have to do is cut those two arms off, the mounting arms, so that we are able to get the beam, and I think we might even have to cut those the arms off there too. We'll see how we go. And then once we've got the front beam in, then we can start installing all the parts. The disc brakes are on the way from John Sherman, which is up in Queensland, so they're on the way. And once we've done that, then we can move on to getting the gearbox, just the original split gearbox, which is that one there. We're going to put that in just for now so that we can get this thing as a rolling body, I suppose, get it off the frame. So it's going to be a little bit tricky to get this frame. I've got a feeling we're going to have to probably disassemble it in where it is right now. If you remember back at the start when I built this frame, I only welded it in certain positions because I knew I was going to have to cut this thing apart. So it's not fully welded all the way around all the seams, as you'll see here. As you can see there, it's not. I just wanted to try and make it easy for me to dismantle it because I probably won't be needing it again. So there's our spindles. They're done. So they're ready to rock and roll once we get this thing off the frame. Because the idea is we get it off the frame, get it onto some wheels, and then I can get it up onto the hoist, and we can start doing some work underneath it because there is still a little bit of painting and a little bit of welding still to do underneath too. So I think the parts that I couldn't get to were in here. Yeah, just up here. You can see these plug welds up here haven't been done. And there's just a few little bits and pieces under here that I just couldn't get to. So there's a bit of, grinding back these plug welds here. And all under here needs to be painted properly. So anyway, let's get these two bars here chopped off. Fingers crossed nothing moves, and I don't think it will because it's all pretty solid now. So we might just get the jack underneath this section just in case it does want to warp or move, but I don't think it will. We'll just lop these off at the bottom here and go from there. There it is. Oh, hello, Bonnie. What you doing? What you doing, missus? Hey? You coming to check Dad's work? Hey? No? Okay. Oh, you are? Well, it's no good, is it? Probably not. So, yeah, that was actually quite difficult to get it in because you try hopping in that little crawl space just there and having these things not smack you on the head. Okay, you take that and rack off. Anyway, she's bolted in. It's all good. Everything lines up. What we're going to do now is put the spring packs in and get the arms in as well. Okay, so we've got the bottom pack. Got to make sure that we've got the nipples around the right direction.
What you talking about, Willie?
Try not to get too much grease on my hands. I'm going to try and find the hole. just hope this works. I have a sneaking suspicion this might not go in. So unfortunately, I don't think the spring pack fits. I might have to use the barn door spring pack. Let me see if they're a little bit different to each other. They might be. I've got another one over here. Do we have a discrepancy in the packs? And I think we bloody do. Have a look at this here. Barn door spring pack. Oh yeah, it's bloody totally different. Totally different. Okay, so that is going to cause a problem. Nothing's easy, is it? So what we've got to find out now, whether can we change, what's going to be the easiest way to change the boss in the middle and put the 64 boss inside it, which we might have to do, because I don't want to run these spring packs, because as you can see there, they are twisted really badly. So they're not going to work at all. These are obviously smaller by how much? Let's have a look. So the diameter is, hang on, if we go that way, yeah, no, they've beefed them up on all aspects, obviously, you know, being almost prototype. Yeah, this is a lot smaller in both dimensions, so unfortunately that's not going to work. So that's going to, it's just more work, that's all. It means we're going to have to push the bosses out and put the other ones in, yeah, which is drilling out the nipple. Okay, so the beam's got to basically come back out again. That's a bummer. Righto, change of plan, only because I'm going to have to pull the beam out and knock the centre bosses out, and it's just going to take forever. I did happen to get these ones out of the old 4-inch custom beam that I made, and to get them out, I had to cut it in half, unfortunately, so it's a bit of a bummer. I was never going to use that beam anyway, and obviously the side plates were completely chopped apart. Look, if you ever wanted to put it back together down the track, you could, but I've got other beams, so there's no big deal. Anyway, that was the easiest way to get them out. So we've got both of the bosses here. You can see that pattern's totally different, so, you know, that's just a new improved version once they went out of the barn door production. So we're going to end up having to put those in, which is fine. We'll do it at a later stage. For now, just to make sure that everything else is going to work, I want to mock it up as it is. So we're just going to use those ones, the barn door ones in there, and they do still fit the arms, the 64 arms. So I just want to get the spindles all on it and see what's going on with these tie rods and what we're going to have to do to make that all work. So let's continue on. So we've got our spindles installed. You can see that I haven't put bushers or anything in them. They're literally just bolted in here just so that we can get this thing off the frame. So yeah, we'll have to pull them all out again. Obviously these bosses here are going to have to get pushed into the middle of the beam, and the ones that are in there, we're going to have to take those out. So that'll be a job down the track, but for now we just want to get it off this chassis frame. So what we need to do now, we're waiting for the front discs to come, so we can't do anything more on the front here. We're going to have to change our focus to the rear, and I am thinking that this is going to be probably a little bit more difficult because we need to remove this brace here so that we can get to the torsion housing, because we're going to have to put the spring plates in, the axles inside, and we're going to have to cut these ones off too to enable us to get this gearbox in. So there's going to be a little bit of work. Now, I'm not sure if I cut these two out, are we going to have any issues? Let's have a bit of a look under here, because let's see, we've got no other real bracing apart from up on the chassis over there in the middle and this one at the tail here. Now, these frames, I don't know if they're going to take that weight, so I think what I'm going to have to do here is, and I'm going to need the jack to be able to lift the gearbox up to this height to slide it in. So I think, this is just thinking out loud here, we're going to have to delete this. So we've got to cut him out so that we can have the jack in here. So we've got room, potentially even cut this one here out too. I don't think we need to, that doesn't need to be there either. But what we might have to do is add potentially another one in the middle there, underneath. I don't know. Let's see, what can we come up with here? We might have to... Oh, actually, you know what I can do? I can pick up this point here, cut this off, weld it back on, potentially just straight up under here, just resting under the torsion tube, just as a temporary... Yeah, I think we're going to have to do that. So I'll cut one of these off, move it, cut the other one off, move it, and then that'll take care of the bracing on the torsion. Then we can take them off and they don't need to be... Yep, okay. That's going to be the plan. So first things first, we're going to unscrew these two and cut this off. Okay. All right, let's do some cutting.
"2,000 years later."
Okay, so the gearbox is in the house, and you can see I have deleted those upright steel beams that were across here and the ones on there. No movement, which was good. Once I undid the nuts, everything stayed exactly where it was, so I would say that everything is doing its job structurally, which is good. You can see what I've done there. I've just added those two there to prop up the torsion tube. So what we have to do now is free up this gearbox because, well, I don't think the drums are spinning, and I figured it's probably a better idea to get the drums off and just get it at least so we can roll the damn thing, because one problem with this, I don't have the bracket on the front here. I think it's like a horseshoe bracket which bolts up into there. It never came with the single cab, so I'll probably have to just shove it in there and then just bolt this on like that. And, you know, I mean, this is literally just to roll it around. So spring plates are in, got those in. Again, they're not the ones that we're going to be using because they were cut in half, as you would have seen before, but I did TIG weld them back together just for now. And I've sort of put them up in a higher position as well, so we'll see what happens with that. Front beams in, the disc brakes have arrived, so I've got the calipers there, and the discs up in the house. I've got to go and get those, but they're ready to get put on, and then at least we can then start to work out how the hell we're going to get it off this table. I'm probably going to have issues actually getting the gearbox in there because that jack I don't think is going to throw high enough for me to be able to get it up into that spot. I don't know. We might have to do I don't know, we'll have to just work it out. I'll maybe use some car jacks to prop it to the first position and then relocate the jack and then take it up again. So anyway, I think, look, the first things we'll do now is just try to get these drums off and see if we can get these things to spin. Okay, so we are using Mr. Yanker, and this is Mr. Yanker right here because it yanks stuff off. That's great. You can see without using a inner section off a rim, you've got nothing for the claws to grab onto. So you can't just use this hydraulic puller straight onto a drum because you obviously have the backing plate here. So method of taking them off when they're absolutely seized on, and have a look how easy this thing is. All you got to do is go like this, la la la, and you can see already that just takes it straight off without any troubles at all. It'll make some noises. Probably taking the shoes with it, but yeah, we don't care. All right, undo it and knock it off now. Righto, so we've got this mess half sorted. Unfortunately, I can't mount it because we don't have a set of these rear mounts that are any good. These ones are broken in half, and of course they hold the gearbox in position and stop it going doink up into the air. So I'm going to have to wait. I think Oven Boy's got a set up at his place that we might grab next week. So we'll just change our focus to the front discs because they have come in. You can see here these are the John Sherman discs from Queensland, and I've used those multiple times before. They work good. That's the calipers there. I'm not actually sure what they're off, But these are the front discs. They're not huge, but you know, you can run stock 15-inch combi wheels with these, and they're beefy, that's for sure. And now these ones are, well, basically they can be engineered for Australian use. So, and they've been done many times before. So engineers are happy to sign these off. Remember, in Australia, we have very strict rules with anything that's been modified on a vehicle. So, and brakes are a big one. So I've used these plenty of times. These are the brackets. Now they mount on, like, that's the right-hand side, yes, and I think it goes that way. So that gets bolted on there like that, and then the caliper will run off the other side of it. Or maybe it's that way. Hang on, let's see. It could be that way, actually. We'll see. Maybe go front or back, I don't know. Anyway, we will get these things installed. Obviously the first job is to make sure this is clean, which I've gone over that with the memory paper. Try the bearings first before you continue. Brand new bearing, make sure it does go on, because, you know, if these suckers bind, there you go, perfect, and that'll slide on too, then you'll have all sorts of trouble getting them on. Now remember, this is only temporary. All this has to come back off again because the beam's got to come out. We've got to, you know, change the spring pack. You can see how badly bent these spring packs are. These two arms are sitting, and there's a, you know, I've got to put my whole arm between the bump stop and the arm, and if you look across at the other one over there, it's in a totally different position. So it's not going to sit square on the ground, but like I said, this is just to get it off the frame. So let's install this quickly and go from there. Now I'm probably not going to put the calipers on. Yeah, there's no need, so we'll leave the brackets off for now. We're really just interested in putting the discs on, so I'm not going to, yeah, like I said, I'll just, I will grease up the bearings though, because I don't want to damage them by not having any grease in the bearing. So I'll quickly grab some of that. So we'll just chuck a little bit of grease on these bearings here. Bonnie, shut it. So basically Bonnie is barking at me because she wants me to play with her, and of course I'm working and she's not happy with that. That's what that's all about. Again, this is just a very temporary, I'm going to be going back over these again. You're being a bit of a pain in the neck, aren't you? Hey? Don't eat the tape. Get that out of your bloody mouth. Okay, let's get this disc on. So I've just put the rubber seal and packed the inner bearing full of grease. The racers are already in, which is good. Gotta make sure this gets on properly. Place the inner race on, like that. Now I don't have the washer. There's a washer that goes on here and a lock washer and a secondary bolt. Unfortunately, I think this beam only came with one nut, so this is going to have to do just for now. But again, like I said, it's only temporary, so we'll just have to wind that on and go from there, I suppose. Find another one out of my stash somewhere. I want to go damaging stuff, so I might just tighten that one up a little bit more. Okay, we'll move on to the other side, get that done, and then we can whack some front wheels on this thing and then move on to the rear. There you go, guys. So we've got some wheels. These ones are my old ones off the single cab, for the keen viewers that would probably recognise them. And they've got those stupid flapper things on, which, yeah, I tried gluing them on and that didn't work. Anyway, both sides are on, so it's actually interesting. This is a stock barn door beam, and it almost looks like it's like 2.5 inch narrowed. Like you can see the wheels are set in quite a lot, which is good because we're not doing any of that stuff. It's going to literally ride exactly how you see it right now. So, and I think that'll be a perfect height. Obviously, the suspension will collapse up a little bit, but probably not much more than that. So, yeah, it'll be a good height. We just got to get the rear end sorted, and we're good to go.
A few moments later.
Well, as you can see, I am fighting to get this gearbox in. You can, because of the height, I just put a platform there with some ply and a bit of steel under it, and we're just slowly going back and forth with the jack. It's getting there. I'm trying to be smart because I don't want to use my back. And so far, so good. Let's keep going. Getting close. And then of course we're going to have to get the spring plates into their spots. That one's almost rotated correctly. That one is not. We reposition the jack. I think we'll be okay. Let's see what happens if we drop it. Yes, Bonnie? What's wrong? What do you want? Hey? What? You checking the work already? I haven't even got it in yet. You can look at the front discs. I've done them already. Okay? Okay, go. Off you go. Yeah, we've still got to go in quite a ways forward, but at least we've got something for it to rest on now. I can probably relocate the jack to the back here. I think I'll do that. I'll take the jack out now, relocate it to here. Yeah. Okay. Now I think the hockey stick is somewhat in its hole. Looks like it. I might even be able to just push her in. Yes, I can. That did almost do the job. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, well, we have back wheels on. That was a bit of a mission to put them on because they are a taller profile than the fronts. Of course, they didn't fit under the guard here, did they? So, I mean, it probably didn't help the fact I put the spring plates not all the way down, but I just used my little mini jack and jacked the spring plate down and then took the air out of the tyre and shoved it in underneath here, and we're all good. But I'll tell you what, it's literally just touching, look at that, touching the chassis frame right there with no air in it. So I'm going to have to leave it. I can't put any air in it because it'll probably push against the frame. So I think the next thing now that we've got all four wheels on is start to probably put the car on jacks where it is and then start to dismantle the frame. I think that's probably the safest way to do it. I've got 4 of those jacks there, so I'll just probably have to block them up a bit. And yeah, then we should be able to just chop the tops of these welds off here with a grinder and literally disassemble the frame. And I was very mindful when I put this thing together just to weld it top and bottom. We'll see how we go busting it apart. But yeah, at least she's on her wheels, which is cool. That took a few hours. So yeah, I'm buggered. Coffee time. We'll bring you back in a second. Righto, guys. So after a couple of hours of grinding and chopping off all the cross braces, we're pretty much, the frame's just floating here now. So the single cab is up on the stilts very precariously. I'm not getting under there, that's for sure. We're just going to knock out this back one. I've just taken the welds off the sides here, and I should be able to just roll the table out, and then we're going to have to play you know, just rocking it down to get it down onto the ground. So we're almost there. It's taken a few hours just to knock off all the steel braces and stuff. So let's keep going. I'll put some air in the tyres and then we'll get this thing on the ground. Okay, well, we'll definitely have to adjust the height because that is way too low. That's like freaking slammed, obviously, because the spring packs aren't engaged, so they're just kind of floating in there, and obviously the rear end is ridiculously high too. But hey, it's on the ground for the first time in a long time. So now that gearbox is literally just sitting in there, so I don't want to push my luck with it. I haven't even bolted up these back these guys either. They're just sitting there. Anyway, look, for us just to be able to roll it in and out and get it up on the hoist, this is perfect. This is going to work just fine. So awesome. All right, we're going to have to do some moving around now, but it's looking good. Well, there you have it. First time outside on wheels, kind of. There's a lot more to go. Looking pretty cool. It just looks so strange because it's been so high for so long, and now, you know, you can see how low it is now that it's on the ground. Funny enough, I did actually do a measurement from the hinge, and I took it up to the top garage to my single cab, and it was only about 15 mil lower. I thought it would have been way lower, so it's actually not too bad if you look at it from side on. Like I said, once those spring packs are engaged at the front, it will slightly come up, but I think the height's pretty good. Yeah, once we get a proper gearbox for it in the back. A lot more work to do still on it, but it's a bit of a milestone getting it onto wheels. What we're going to do in the next episode, we've got to move all this stuff here. So I want to get the chassis off the hoist, made it to the body, and then I can move that and then get the single cab on the hoist, because we've got to just do some work underneath it. So that will be in the next episode, guys. Thanks again for dropping by, and thanks for all the new subscribers. We'll see you in another episode on the Barn Door.